In today's video, I'm going to be answering some bookkeeping questions that you sent to me. I did a post on my Instagram stories asking you for questions about private practice, bookkeeping, expenses, invoicing, fees, anything like that. So I'm going to answer those for you today. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Kim. I help therapists in private practice get online, get confident with admin and reduce tech overwhelm. So let's jump straight in. Okay, I've just qualified as a therapist. I'm setting up my private practice. What is the number one thing I should do to help me with my bookkeeping? Okay, as I always say, the number one thing you should do when you start a private practice is get a separate bank account. You want to have a business bank account for your practice, so all of the revenue comes into one account and any expenses to do with the private practice leave that account. That is going to help you so much when you are doing your bookkeeping and for when the Making Tax Digital comes into play as well. So that is my number one tip. I'm a sole trader. How do I work out how much tax I'm going to have to pay? I am not an accountant, so I do not know all the tax bands and all that kind of stuff. But what you do need to know is that you are taxed on all of your business profit. So profit is revenue minus expenses. That is your profit. So let's say your revenue is £3,000, your expenses is £1,000. You are going to be taxed on that £2,000 left over, even if you only give yourself a salary of £1,000. You will need to pay tax on all of the profit that your business has earned. So it's really important to start monitoring that and looking at it monthly so that you can kind of gauge how much tax you're going to have to pay. Something you can do is go to the government website and put in your business profit, and it will give you a rough estimate of how much tax and national insurance you are going to have to pay. Like I said, I'm not an expert on that. What I can advise you is that you will need to pay tax on all of the profit. It doesn't matter how much you are actually personally taking. Leading on from that, I've got a question about how much I should save for tax and national insurance. I save 30% of my profit to cover that, a full 30%. That has always done me right, and I've always had more in my tax bucket than I've needed, but it is going to really depend on your own circumstances. So 30% might not be right for you. That's just what I save, and it'll become much clearer once you've done your first year. You will kind of get an understanding of how much you need to save, but I would definitely save probably a bigger proportion than you think. Do I need an accounting software? So currently, no, you do not need an accounting software. If you are a sole trader, which most therapists in private practice are, you can just do your self-assessment. You really only have to put in two figures, which is how much revenue you earned and how much your expenses were, and that's it. As long as you know those two figures, that's really all you need to do your self-assessment. I would definitely suggest to start recording your bookkeeping, your income and your expenses somehow, whether that's using my spreadsheet that I have or getting accounting software so that you can get ready for Making Tax Digital, but also just so you can understand the financial health of your practice. Sometimes looking at the number in your bank account, it's not going to tell the whole story. You don't know how much revenue you're waiting for. You don't know what expenses you've got to come out of that. So just looking at one figure in, you know, going on your banking app and just seeing a figure is not going to tell you the whole story. You really need to look deeper into what you are earning each month and what your expenses are. So I would definitely suggest doing your bookkeeping monthly, either on a spreadsheet. You can make your own, you can use mine, or yes, sign up to accounting software such as QuickBooks, Xero or Sage, and that's definitely going to be a benefit to you. When do I need to file my self-assessment? So the tax year for the UK runs on the 6th of April each year to the 5th of April the next year. And then you have until the 31st of January the year after to file your self-assessment. So let's take this year that we're coming up to. So this tax year we're currently in is 22-23. So this tax year runs from the 6th of April 22 to the 5th of April 23, and then you have till the 31st of January 2024 to file your self-assessment. I would definitely recommend doing it way before then. You have to make sure you have your UTR number and that you can log on with your password and things like that. So you need to make sure that is already set up. I helped my husband file his self-assessment the other day and he had forgot his password, so we had to reset that, and then it was linked to his phone, and it was a whole ordeal just to try and get into the website. So I would make sure that you log on and check that you can get in, and give yourself time, especially when it's your first self-assessment, to make sure that you complete it correctly. But you do have until the 31st of January, the year after the tax year ends. Can I expense any of my bills as I work from home? Okay, yes you can. The easiest way to do it is by using simplified tax for the working from home, and basically I'll put a picture on screen of how much you can claim depending on how many hours you work from home. It's going to be the simplest way to do it. Otherwise, what you would need to do is get your bills, so your utility bills. You'd have to work out a percentage of that based on how much you are using. It gets really complicated. So I would definitely use the simplified expenses for working from home, and basically what you can do is just add that into your expenses. You could physically take it out of your bank account each month, so that's recorded as an expense, or you can just remove it in the self-assessment. So that's how you can claim the working from home benefit. Okay, I have low cash in my practice. How can I increase this? Probably the easiest way to increase this is to increase your session fee. So you may just want to do this for new clients rather than current clients. However, I would suggest increasing your fee once a year for current clients as well. It's going to take you about 6 months to see the benefit of increasing your fees if you just do it for new clients, because as new clients come in and older clients finish, that's going to take time. So it is worthwhile increasing fees for current clients, but I would only suggest doing this once a year and making sure that you give around 2 months notice to those clients, so that if they are not going to be able to afford it, they've got long enough to finish therapy with you, rather than it being a real abrupt ending. And another way is to decrease your spending. So really looking at what your expenses are and seeing if anything can be cut out. If you're really struggling, look at the biggest expense you have. So maybe if you're renting a room, is there a different way you can do that? Could you switch to just doing online therapy for a short period of time whilst you get your accounts in better shape? Running a private practice is quite a lean business, apart from your room rent and things like that. So I would have a look at what you are spending, see if there's anything you can cut out, but the easiest way to do it is going to be to increase fees. Should I outsource my bookkeeping? I believe that if you are a sole trader, you do not need to outsource your bookkeeping. However, as a caveat to that, if you hate finances, like if you've got some real money mindset issues, if you just find finances really confusing, it can be really worthwhile outsourcing that. It doesn't need to be to an accountant, because they can be quite expensive, especially if you're just starting out and you're a sole trader. You could just get a bookkeeper, because all you are really needing them to do is record your income and your expenses. You can also get your VA to do this as well. You would just need to give them access to your bank records or statements. The easiest way to do this is just download the file as a CSV file, which is a spreadsheet, and then they'll be able to complete the bookkeeping for you and send you back the report. So you don't need to outsource, but if you really have an aversion to finances and numbers and things like that, then it is worthwhile doing that so that you can understand the financial health of your practice. Okay, those are the questions that I got sent in. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below and I will do my best to answer them for you. If you'd like to take part in the next Q&A, follow me on Instagram. I'll leave my details on screen and in the description below, because I always ask my questions in my Instagram stories. It also goes on Facebook stories, but I don't know how many people actually look at that, but it's there too. So you can also follow me there if you don't have Instagram. And just want to say thanks so much for watching. I really hope you found this video useful. Be sure to check out all of the other videos in this playlist to help you with your private practice finances.